Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. Ooh, who do we start off with first? You know what? Let's start off with Victoria and Nick. So at this point, Victoria just wants Sally gone. Okay, she wanted her gone from day one, and that hasn't changed. And now that she found somebody that could be a good candidate, she's like, "Yo, I want her gone." And of course, of course, Nick is like, you think that Nate is a better choice? Like, given the fact that he betrayed his own family, you want to put him in the hot seat? Like, really? That makes sense? They go back and forth, and of course, Victoria's like, listen, I'm questioning your judgment, seeing how you've been, spending so much time with her. Nick is not there trying to defend her. But at the end of the day, Victoria's like, listen, if Nate's not going to do it, I'm going to get somebody else. So, bottom line, she's gone. And towards the end of the episode, Nick does track down Sally, and he's preparing to sit there and tell her the bad news, which is probably going to be tomorrow. Now, I didn't want to do a review yesterday. I was going to, but then I realized that I kind of did it in the wrong order. I actually want to miss an episode because of that. I was watching it on YouTube, and when you try to watch something on YouTube, and you think that, long story short, um, Monday's episode that I thought was Monday's was actually Tuesday's episode. So I didn't find that out until, well, Tuesday when I started trying to do my review. When I was sitting there trying to look for the episode and realized numbers and stuff like that just was not adding up. And I realized I was like, oh, okay. Um, yeah, Victoria wants to go on. Now, let's talk about Nate and Devon. Well, actually, Nate and Billy first. Because Billy came over there to talk to Nate to try to smooth things over. You know, get Nate to really understand what he did, apologize to the family. You know, what Billy wants to do is, his goal is before he leaves, he wants to then try to leave the family at least a better place. Given all this whole merger and everything like that, and Jill is not too happy, and he says that Lily, family is important to her, so he wants to go over there and try to smooth things over and get him to realize, listen, if you want them to forgive you, you're gonna have to sit there and put in the work. Now, granted, Nate was already trying to call Devon, no answer, and when he was over there, Devon called him back. So with that being said, Billy was like, all right, listen, my job is done. He went back to talk to not Victoria. He went back to talk to Lily, and Lily, I don't understand this chick some days. I really don't. Sometimes I'm just like the way that she came at um Billy, because they had a conversation early, and it was mostly about Connor and everything. But when Billy was like, listen, I want to try to smooth things over with your family, with Nate, she was like, well, what are you doing that for? That's my family. That's my cousin. I can sit there and do it. I don't need your help. And she said to him that you're only doing this because you feel guilty that you're leaving. And that's fine. I get that. But you're not helping. I can do it by myself. And I'm just like, I just want to get this straight. You are biting his head off for him trying to help. I can see if this was like a malicious act or anything like that, but clearly you can tell that this guy's heart, at the very least, was in the right place. So for her to act like that was just like, wow, you are taking this way too far. Um, she made it seem like he was going over there to like cause damage or something like that. Now, Devon did come by, and Nate did apologize for what he was saying. Well, he apologized for what he did, the argument that they had, everything. He just, he was like, listen, I did this. It's my own ambitions, and I let a lot of things cloud my judgment. Now, Devon did say that Nate was right as far as, Neil and the way he's been treating Nate to some extent as far as like not hearing his ideas and, not letting the company grow because he's so fixated on trying to do what Neil would have wanted that he's not sitting there like moving the company forward by like implementing ideas or having the staff like kind of putting like a bit of not empath but input. So he was like, you're right about that. But now we get to a point where he does sit there and say, at the end of the day, I did try in my own way to try to include you into the company. He wants to know a name. He wants to know a name, and Nate doesn't give it to him. Now, at this point, Devon gets upset. He's like, you call me, you come, I come down here, you talk about your sorry, you're apologizing. Do you understand how any of that works? Because the threat is still out there. The threat is still out there. He's like, yo, listen, if you really mean what you say, you tell me a name. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, all right, whatever. He walks off. Now, towards the end of the episode, he gets a text or a call from Victoria. He comes down there, and Victoria's like, listen, I'm just going to cut to the chase. How would you like to sit there and be the CEO of Newman Media? It's going to be interesting what he says, but, at the end of the day, it's still not going to save Sally's job. Oh, by the way, Chloe's out too. Yeah, Chloe's out as well. Which is just like, wow. I mean, I can see that you want to fire Sally for your reasons, but why fire Chloe as well? Like, what did she do? I don't, I don't get that. I really don't understand that. The Connor's all dressed up, and Adam Smith here trying to get his mind off of, well, just trying to make him feel better because you can see that he's still kind of bothered by Chelsea and the way that things been going on between him and Chelsea. So Adam Smith here trying to do his best. Sally, in the beginning, I'm just like, why are you just like standing there stalking like a creep? Now I understand that she might have been doing it for the right reasons, but it just looked a little kind of off. I'm gonna be honest. There's a couple of times where Connor Smith here talking about Chelsea and she's just been off, like off, being late for things because apparently she was supposed to meet him there for a while. I mean, like she's late, um, and she's just been not showing up for things. It's been late a lot of times, and this is something he's just gotten used to. So when Sally comes by, they talk for a little bit, and Adam is not there calling Chelsea. Chelsea is just lying in bed. At this point, you can just tell it's like depression just totally set in. So Adam does go over there. He knocks on the door, and she eventually answers. And he's like, "You do realize you're supposed to be down there at the coffee place like 20 something minutes ago to take pictures of Connor." And she's just like, "Whoa, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh, I've been sick and stuff like that." I gotta sit there and say, Adam showed a considerable amount of restraint. Now, granted, at the end, when you really think about it, being mad, being angry, yelling is not going to do anything. You can tell that this woman looks like she's at the end of her rope. And I think that Billy might have said that, yeah, it was Billy that was like, we need a therapist. We need a therapist that can sit there and guide us through this. We need somebody that's just trained profession that can deal with Con and that can deal with us, that can sit there and give us advice. And I'm like, now, I'm pretty sure I said this like in my GH review sometimes. Hmm, I did. Because I'm sitting thinking, I was like, who do I suggest to have therapy? And I'm like, Sasha, therapy. And now I'm just like, boo, you definitely need therapy. Because it's probably like 12 in the afternoon, you're lying in bed, you got a bunch of missed calls, and your son is, well, waiting for you. You know? Like, I get it, boo. You're dealing with a depression, but if that's the case, you need therapy, you need something because it's one thing if you don't have any children and you're just like, all right, well, I'll get to it. Eventually I'll get to a doctor or a therapist or whatever. It's like when you have children, it's like, no, you don't have the luxury of time. Every minute that goes by that you're not getting help, you're not doing the right thing by your children. That's the way I look at it. So anyway, she's like, listen, I'm sorry about everything, and she's like, just need a few minutes. Meanwhile, Sally's there to keep Connor company, talk about scary movies, and just kind of keep his mind off of the fact that he's dealing with a lot of stuff with his mother. So she does a good job. They talk about, I think the movie was Poltergeist or whatever, which, I mean, Poltergeist was kind of scary, but if I'm gonna be honest, The Exorcist to this day, well, to be honest, it still scares the living. It scares me. Okay, it scares the hell out of me. I mean, to be fair, any Exorcist kind of movie always scares me. Anyway, she does a good job until Chelsea comes, and Chelsea comes in there, and you could just feel the awkward tension between him and Connor. There was one point where Chelsea wanted to take pictures, and Connor wasn't even too sure, but Adam kind of had to like nudge him to go outside just to, I don't know, just to kind of relieve the situation a little bit. And of course, like I said, Nick was there to sit there and tell Sally, by the way, no easy way of saying this, but Victoria wants you out. I really tried to bat for you, but the Ice Princess has spoken, and yeah. Now I didn't realize that Chelsea was out of a job because Adam was sitting there trying to give a bunch of excuses why Chelsea was late, like, oh, it was traffic and it was a meeting, and I kind of was like, well, what are you talking about? She doesn't even have a job. Like, there's no reason for her to be late. Which I'm just like, wow, bro, you really need to get your ish together, like now, you know. And before I go, I when I sit there and I look at the situation between Nate and Devon, and I was sitting there reading in the comment section that both parties were wrong, and you know, now see, I mean, Nate backstabbed the family, and Devon didn't give him a chance. This, that, and third. I'm like, listen, there's only one party that is wrong in this whole thing. It is clearly not Devon. Okay, because at the end of the day, this is what people don't seem to understand. Okay, at the end of the day, you have a captain and you have a first mate or whatever you want to sit there and call. Nate is second in charge. Okay. Nate can sit there and think of all the different policies and different ideas that he wants, but at the end of the day, no matter if Devon is stubborn, he doesn't want to sit there and listen, he wants to run a company a certain way, at the end of the day, he is still the person that's in charge. That's what people don't seem to understand throughout this whole confrontation. Is that at the end of the day, there's no both of them were wrong. No, no, no. There was only one wrong party in this whole thing. And that was Nate. And what does he decide to do? He decides to work with the Newmans. He decides to literally stab his family in the back in hopes that when they come by, oh, he'll be in charge and he'll sit there and be able to make changes and things of that nature. You do realize that you are working for the Newmans, not with the Newmans, for the Newmans. Okay? Because they were going to be the people at top. Okay? He might have had some ideas and Victoria might have sat there and maybe a couple of them. But at the end of the day, this is still a Newman party. So this whole, well, both of them are wrong and they both need to own up to their mistake. There's no both needs to own up to anything. Okay? Because regardless if you don't agree, if you agree or disagree with him not getting a chance and him not being able to prove his value and his ideas and stuff like that, I mean, you work at a job. You understand how that job works, okay? I can sit there and tell the people that are above me, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, I think it'd be a good idea to do this. I want to sit there and feel like I'm included. At the end of the day, it's not my position, okay? That's why you have a hierarchy, and that's why there's times where you need to stay in your lane. It baffles me when I sit there and see, and this is not my comment section, by the way. When I'm sitting there watching stuff on YouTube, I'll sit there and read the comments, and I mean, listen. At the end of the day, you can feel how you want to feel, about it. You could sit there and say, well, Devon was just as, guilty, or, he wasn't innocent in this whole thing. But just keep in mind that Devon is Nate's boss, not the other way around. Okay, there is no equal partnership. The only equal partnership is between Lily and Devon. That is it. That's it. That's the bottom line. We can sit there and argue all day about what Devon did wrong and what he did right, but it doesn't matter because he's the person that's in charge, and that's how hierarchy works. That's just I can't make it much more simpler than that. I swear, I feel like in some ways I actually feel like I sound like the Bond for a minute, but I'm watching these two argue. I'm watching this whole thing, and I'm like, mate, you don't get it. This isn't your company, okay? He hired you with the little business experience that you have, okay? And you made a couple mistakes, okay, fine, whatever. Most of those mistakes, if he was anybody else, he would have been fired. Let's just be very clear about that. He would have been fired. You would think that you would have a little bit of grace and humility. Be like, you know what? Okay, he's not going to sit there and take this idea. He's not going to take that idea. Let me just sit there and just work the company ladder. I am second in command. Let me just, stick to my position, stick to my role. And that's another thing. I was going to sit there, and that was another thing. When Devon was like, well, who was hyping you up, sitting there telling you all this? Who was sitting there puffing up your chest? We all know who was doing that. And Nate was stupid enough to sit there and listen to this girl. Which, by the way, of course, he didn't listen to his own girlfriend, but that's nor here or there. That's nor here or there. I just kind of had to get that little bit of a rant off my chest, at least for now, because, anyway, with that being said, let me know your thoughts on the comment section below. I know this video is coming out a little bit late. I woke up a little bit later than I wanted to. Went up seeing Black Adam, and so everything just kind of just rolled downhill a little bit. And I should sit there and say in this video now, tomorrow's going to get back to normal. I'm still going to do my live stream tonight. Well, with that being said, there's going to be some reviews that may get on the back burners today, but tomorrow, everything being full swing. I was thinking about seeing it tomorrow, but then I have work next day at the crack of dawn, and it's a lot easier if I just see it today, do the live stream, have a good time with some people, and just get back to business tomorrow. But I wanted to do this because I already started this review, or I started watching the episode, and I went to the movies, and I was like, you know what, I'm only got a little bit less. Let's just have some fun and do the review. That's pretty much about it. So I'm just gonna wait until my laptop charges after I put out this review, and I feel like that's pretty much about it. That's gonna be pretty much about it. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.